Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Cool. So, hi everybody. Starting my keynote now. The topic I'm doing today is the symbiosis of creativity and technology. And so, firstly, I'd like to ask you all a question. How do you see the world? Do you see it as a sequence of events that you're passively reacting to, or do you see it more like a creative dance of life between creativity and technology, where you're able to bend reality based on the positive, pure intention of your mindset? And so with that, that leads me to this concept of a new digital renaissance. And I'd like to share a song with you all today. So I'm going to share my screen, and Anne-Marie's going to help me out here. And we're going to play. It's called New Renaissance.
When the whole world crumbles down, a brave new world comes underground. We'll call it New Renaissance. And nobody save me now. You know you're a war and you're fighting now. We'll call it New Renaissance. Life's got me tripping, life's got me tripping around. And life's got me tripping, life's got me tripping around. Yeah. It's a new renaissance.
Cool. I am back and I'm going to switch back to the slides. Awesome. So that's a song I made called New Renaissance in the spirit of the zeitgeist of our times, which is that we are in this insane time in human history where we're seeing the confluence of technologies, Web3, AI, the future of spatial computing. And I love this image that I created in Unreal Game Engine of the Vinci avatar walking the path of less traveled, let's say, metaphorically. And like Moses, you can see the sea parted. And that's this inner knowing of leadership into the new frontier and this sense of energetic excitement about where we can go with the benign outcome of technology. And so with that, there's this concept of the Vinci Project, which I created in 2017 with that avatar that you saw. And I was inspired by this image here, which online of the Vitruvian Man. But as you can see, it's a meme interpretation of also a half cyborg. And it made me think about the future of humanity and AI. And I thought about that as well after reading this book, The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil. And so it compelled me so much that I was inspired to create the character of Vinci, who was this fictional super sentient AI superheroine being from the future. And in the terms of the topic today of the symbiosis of creativity and technology, it really does relate to the metaphor of this Vinci character, because we're seeing a human, being me, personifying this super sentient AI character from a place of love, not fear. And the term symbiosis can be defined as the art and dance of living together. It could be the symbiosis in our relationships with love, with nature, and now with technology. And true symbiosis could be arguably perceived as interconnected network systems of homeostasis, where self-regulating cycles seamlessly merge with a wider ecosystem net of mutual codependency. So with that definition in mind of beneficial codependency, are we reliant on technology to survive? They say jokingly that like our iPhones are like our third hand. And then we have people like Elon Musk who jest that because of this, we are already becoming these symbiotic cyborgs. But how far is too far? And when does the symbiosis shift from being productive to counterproductive? And the fabric of our reality is bound together by this thinly veiled thread of what we classify as universal truth and mutual understanding. And then we lead into this concept of faith and faith in technology. And creativity and technology and the symbiosis is this these two intersecting forces that we're seeing right now in the zeitgeist with generative AI art and music and so on. And it leads to this question of augmentation and acclimatization. And this is a fun interview that I want to share with you all, actually. I call it David Bowie's Intuitive Prophecies. And I'm going to share my screen again because I really want to share this interview because it was really forward thinking at the time when a reporter asked David Bowie about the future of the internet. So I'm going to play it for you all now.
in the guise of a single and absolute created society where there were known truths and known lies, and there was no kind of duplicity or pluralism about the things that we believed in. That started to break down rapidly in the 70s, and the idea of a duality in the way that we live. There are always 2, 3, 4, 5 sides to every question. That the singularity disappeared, and that, I believe, has produced such a medium as the internet, which absolutely establishes and shows us that we are living in total fragmentation.
You don't think that some of the claims being made for it are hugely exaggerated? I mean, when the telephone was invented, people made amazing claims.
I know
the president, for example.
The president at the time when it was first invented, he was outrageous. He said he foresaw the day in the future when every town in America would have a telephone. Now how dare he claim like that? Absolute bullshit. No, you see, I don't agree. I think the internet, I don't think we've even seen the tip of the iceberg. I think the potential of what the internet is going to do to society, both good and bad, is unimaginable. I think we're actually on the cusp of something exhilarating and terrifying.
It's just a tool, though, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, it's an alien life form.
What do
I just thought that'd be fun to share. It's just so forward thinking of an interview at the time. And I feel like we're at the same sort of situation now with the future of this, the spatial web, and with AI and the potential and possibilities of Web3 as a technology. And this leads me into another metaphorical allusion, which is Plato's allegory of the cave. I love this analogy by Socrates because it demonstrates the implications of people spending significantly more time, if we relate it now to the future of the spatial web, in immersive 3D environments as an alternative to living in the physical world reality. And in this allegory, the cave discusses this concept of people, chained inside the cave, watching this shadow puppet show. And then when presented with the opportunity to be unchained and to go out of the cave and into the light, they still choose to live their reality of watching the shadow puppets in the cave. And I just like this because I think it serves as a pragmatic, didactic warning for the future of the importance to embrace these technologies with a sense of ethics and to remember our sense of humanity. And with this concept of remembering our sense of humanity, I was inspired and it led me to creating a song called Level Up to Nirvana, ironically. And Nirvana is that state of euphoria. And as you can see in the lyrics here, I'm saying, I'm living a new sensation, eyes wide closed in my dimension, yada, yada, yada. Web3 in the metaverse is tripping to make us reconvert. I'm riding on high alert, an agent from the future. And so all these things coalesce together in my project for Vinci. I am inspired by the zeitgeist and this concept of futurism and how to propel humanity forward and uplift the consciousness towards a benign outcome. And because of this mission, this led me to follow my curiosity, educate myself, and to learn about technologies such as Web3. So why Web3? I believe we're currently in the Web 2.5 era, which is the transition to our Web3 future, where Web3 will become the trust layer for both AI and the web. But basically, let's clarify firstly a working definition of the metaverse. In my opinion, it represents a set of universal standards for interoperability between experiences, platforms, and services. And Web3 does intersect with this. Beyond anything, it also represents a cultural movement and a paradigm shift where the creator will fight back against the algorithms to metaphorically owning one's own rhythm. And then this leads to this concept of, is it hype or are we in a state of hope? And I'm a big proponent of this concept of decentralized distributed intelligence and the network. And we're at a pivotal juncture in human history. And as I was saying earlier in the panel, a creative renaissance. It's a new frontier which opens a vista of offering inclusivity, accessibility, expression, community, privacy, and sovereignty. And it also represents a wider shift in our attitudes towards value and ownership. So it's never mind just the traditional creator gig economy or software as a service. We are now developing what we would call a distributed network-based intelligence that allows us to make decisions as a collective, kind of like a harmonic symphony rather than playing our own instruments, to make a music metaphor out of this. So real-time and biased information that is dynamic and verified by the blockchain via peer-to-peer decentralized networks. And so to firstly understand the power of a decentralized distributed network, we must also understand the underlying tech stack being the blockchain. So the blockchain, I'm sure you all know, involves a consensus protocol with a set of rules that nodes follow in order to update their database and to ensure the match with the copies of the nodes on the network. And we are seeing this progression towards zero knowledge proofs, including AI and a trust layer, which is, I believe, the ultimate end game for Web3. And it's leading us towards this future of a decentralized digital identity, which we also covered earlier on the panel today. And so what this leads to as well with the tech stack of the future of spatial computing is a whole new realm. And we're seeing like this stack of amazing technological innovations being released into the marketplace. And I just wanted to highlight a few of them. We have NextMind BCI, which is a non-invasive brain-computer interface that allows you to basically think and create. And we are very quickly progressing towards a Star Trek future. And this is all relevant to this concept of the symbiosis of creativity and technology and how it will interrelate with the Web3 creator economy. And we've also seen the latest release with NVIDIA, with generative AI avatars and NPCs with their ACE technology. We've got Unreal Engine, which is absolutely incredible, high fidelity graphics. You can download it for free and learn. There's so many resources available online. And they released, designed by the company called Three Lateral, the Meta Human Creator. And basically it does all the animation and the rigging for you with these high fidelity digital humans. And then we've also got technologies such as NVIDIA Nerves, which is super cool. It's a software that uses AI and neural radiance fields to approximate, how light behaves in the real world and enables users to reconstruct a 3D scene from a handful of images taken at different angles. So all of this coalesces together with Web3 and AI, and we would go welcome to this concept of the Open Metaverse, which connects to this concept of decentralized distributed intelligence, not the Web2 centralized algorithmic filtration bubbles and walled gardens. And this is an image I made to kind of resemble like this climatic movement. I made this in Unreal Game Engine, and you can see in the center the Vinci character, and she's holding a tuning fork, which is her weapon of choice. It's not really a weapon, I would call it an instrument of divine attunement and balance and harmony. And then we have the two opposing forces of good and evil on either side of her. And I've likened this creatively. This is from a space opera novel that I've written of a larger universe, but it also relates to the zeitgeist of today with the friction between owning one's data and versus the exploitation of our data in Web 2, and how Web 3 enables this sense of empowerment and ownership, not only of our own data, but over our creations and monetization opportunities. And what I'm really excited about is this concept of an interoperable audience. So the future of spatial computing in an open metaverse involves this interoperable layer that coordinates diverse systems and utilities. And the Web3 open metaverse involves transparent on-chain transactions, data ownership, decentralized identity, and convergence of AI with agent-based AI systems via neural networks. So how can we achieve this, this vision of an open, interoperable metaverse? And an example I was referring to earlier in the panel today is the Emergence SDK, which is, I've been experimenting with it. It's super cool because I develop an Unreal Game Engine as well. And this is a toolkit that you can download for free for Unreal Engine developers and world builders to create interoperable assets, identity, and wealth for a cross-chain immersive experience. And that's really empowering for the Web3 creator economy, because you're able to leverage the tech of Web3 through interoperable avatars on these on-chain inventory services as well as smart contracts. And so situations like these is super empowering, and we need to support more startups like these and organizations that will allow us to progress further to this decentralized future that involves this concept of dynamic NFTs, zero knowledge proofs, as well as Web3's convergence with AI. And with that, as we all know, we are having the creator Cambrian explosion that is currently happening. I read this statistic online that the creator economy is already estimated to grow to 24 billion by 2024. And just remember, that is just human creators. And so we can only imagine with generative AI what that number will be. And Web3 is on the edge of a Cambrian explosion for creativity because it involves creation, distribution, curation, as well as discovery. And I believe the future of this creator Cambrian explosion involves what we've been seeing in Web 2, which is user-generated content, but because of the Web 3 enabled tech stack that allows this co-monetization model through royalties and smart contracts, and dissolves this fifth wall between the creator and the community where everyone can become creators. And we're seeing these forms of derivative community IP. And then we have the added layer of artificial intelligence as well. And I'm super excited about this concept of decentralized brands and community co-creation. I do believe it's the future. That image on the right is some exclusive alpha for you all today of a brand that I'm building. It's called Galactic, and that is like the token resemblance of all the symbols of what this universe is about. And part of my mission with the Vinci strategy with the space opera is to empower the Web3 community to form their own micro storylines and find co-monetization models. So how do we go from mass adoption from A to B? A being the status quo and B being accessibility, scalability, interoperability of systems, real world use cases, easy to use UI, as well as reliable governance. Well, in order to do that, it's a mindset shift, as we were talking about earlier today, which is freeing yourself from the box. So we need a cultural shift on a mass level from old paradigms of control and monopoly to one of empowerment and sovereignty. And this leads to this concept of empowering the artists. And this is a cover image called I Came, I Saw, I Conquered, which you can check out online. It's a music video which enables basically creators to believe in themselves with a sense of empowerment because she is a superheroine character, and that emblematizes this concept of the movement of Web3. And so I now like to cover the Web3 creator stack. So obviously the main chains that we're looking at today are Ethereum and Polygon, but the future is cross-chain. I am very much excited about Lamina One and what they're doing, and they're forming some really successful partnerships. And an example in terms of major brands recently could be Adidas and how they've empowered their community through the alts, NFTs, and all the dynamic utilities that are involved. And so tokenizing native and derivative IP, royalties are a powerful argument for why creators leverage Web3 technology, because it gives creators direct control over how their IP is monetized and used with smart contracts across both primary and secondary marketplaces. And we're seeing new revenue models and value propositions. And there's a really cool one that involves AI that I'd like to give a shout out to, which is what Grimes is doing with her Elf Tech company, which is a voice AI software that mimics Grimes's voice, but it allows the community to distribute music in the style of Grimes's voice with this 50-50 royalty split for commercial use. And that's just one example. And I would like to share this as well if I can. So just bear with me. This is Nike.
Euphoria is a world built on Nike Air. We've always tried to innovate our storytelling at Nike, and the opportunity with Euphoria and creating this world with Epic is to really take that storytelling and the way that we engage with our fans and our audience into a completely new realm.
Yeah, cool. So you can check that out online. But what I wanted to share with you all today is like the power of like programs like UEFN, which is Unreal Editor for Fortnite. Like anybody can create a world in Fortnite and build a decentralized brand. And in the realm of music, NFTs, DAOs, and generative AI music, I highly recommend Water and Music. They're a great research DAO that focuses on technology like music, NFTs, and DAOs and streaming services that are directly empowering creatives and the community. And with this movement of generative AI, what is the solution? Well, I believe it's not about being just an AI user, but being an AI value creator. So you bring your own data and you own your own AI models, and you can choose from a library of tools or technologies. And part of this concept of symbiosis of creativity and technology is gamification theory when building a strategy for a decentralized brand. And I really like this theory called octalysis game theory, because it can be applied to any strategy that you want to implement for building a Web3 community and decentralized brand, as it's directly correlated with interactivity and immersion and bringing your community into the fold. And so with that, this is the positive outcome all of this. It's the network effect, which is a real value use case for implementation of these Web3 technologies, which is enabled through peer-to-peer decentralized services. So are we screwed with AI? Well, the Godfather of AI recently, Geoffrey Hinton, was basically saying, yeah, we could be, because as I was saying earlier in the panel, 99 people are thinking about how to accelerate and monetize this technology, and only one person is really trying to figure out how to stop it taking over. However, I'd like to end on the note that I'm a pragmatic optimist, and I believe that the symbiosis of creativity and technology will serve humanity towards a benign outcome. It all comes down to mindset. And with that, the digi-alchemical transformation. I just love that concept because it also relates to Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man and this concept of a new cultural digital renaissance. And with that, we are going into one quantum leap for mankind. We must embrace the idea of the unknown and this concept of quantum untapped potential for how we can partner symbiotically between creativity and technology. And as Kid President would say, two roads divergent of wood. Actually, that was Robert Frost, but then Kid President did a great rendition. And I took the path less traveled and it hurt. Well, it's about being brave and taking these technologies, educating yourself to empower yourself, empower your community, to lead towards a positive future, and flipping the algorithmic game and building ethically towards what I would call the tech golden age. So thank you so much for tuning into my talk. I'm Vinci. Here's my QR code. If you'd like to check me out further on the website, I'm accessible on LinkedIn if you'd like to discuss all of these concepts further. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.